Legends, what the are you doing? Over the past year or so, I would say there's been a pretty, I wouldn't say it would be a big problem, but especially in these last couple of months, it's been a pretty massive problem in my opinion. And I'm pretty sure you guys already know what I'm talking about, and it is going to be the power creep that's been going on in this game. Now, there's always been power creeps, like, it's inevitable, especially with a gacha game, you know. If the developers want you to summon for a unit, they need to make it enticing for people to summon, right? So most of the time, or I guess sometimes the hype alone is enough to get you to summon, like for instance MUI Goku, you know, Super Vegito, characters like that. Hype alone can already carry them. But when you're dropping like other types of units, for example, maybe the tag droids, potentially even cooler, like these type of units, although they are popular, they're not at the same level as units like MUI Goku or Super Vegeta, right? So to make them somewhat better, they have to make their kits a lot better, right? So that way people would want to actually summon for them. But, you know, ever since last year's Legends Festival, we've seen a pretty massive power creep, and then this power creep has been just magnified by multiple layers over in the last couple of months. Like, just for a quick timeline here, during last year's Legends Festival, before the start of Legends Festival, we had, you know, FSK Gohan, if he's somewhere in here. He's probably somewhere in here. FSK Gohan, Revival Gohan. Dude, where are these characters? Revival Gohan, are you somewhere here? Okay, well, he's not here. I just don't want to bother looking for him. But we had those units, you know, kind of dominating. They were kind of at the top there. And then when Legends Festival hit, we got Goku and Vegeta, Sword of Hope Trunks, and they just completely changed the landscape of PvP, right? They introduced a new level of power creep, and then they took it even a step further with dropping the first summonable Ultra unit, Super Gogeta, and he just completely revolutionized everything, right? Now, obviously, we've seen meta-breaking units in the past, right? We had, like, DBS Broly, we had VB, FSK when he got Zenkai, those type of units. They introduced a certain level of power creep, and they just completely dominated, right? And that Gogeta was probably the best. He was naturally the next unit to do that. But then as time went on, we got more and more units. You know, the LFs actually during the beginning of the year weren't the greatest. You know, Bardock, Jiren, although they were good, they weren't meta defining. So Ultra Gogeta was still at the top there. Then we got Ultra Cow King Goku, who at the time of when they had the featured boost, by the way, featured boost is, for those of you who don't know, feature boost is an additional boost to their stats to get 15% to damage inflicted, or 50%, and then I think it was 20% and then 50% defenses that they get on release, and then after a certain period of time, I think after a couple seasons, they lose the featured boost, and, you know, they basically digress a bit. Not digress, but they basically become a bit weaker, right? So Ultra Kaioken Goku dropped 3 months, I would say, after Ultra Gogeta came, and he once again introduced, I guess, not as a big power creep to the game, because he was kind of on par with Ultra Gogeta. Some would say he was better, but others would argue Ultra Gogeta was still better. But he was good, obviously. And then as time went on, actually just 1 month later, we got the droids. Now, the droids were another big step in power creep because they were just infinitely better than the rest of the game. It was to a point where you would only have to run certain units, and if you don't have those units, you're kind of like forced to use these units, or else you lose in PvP. That's kind of how this game has been progressing recently. Then we hit Anniversary, and then Anniversary introduced a new level of power creep, where MUI Goku, Dragon Fist Goku, Super Vegito, those were the top tier units, alongside the droids, who were still considered the best, if not top 3 units in the game, even after these units dropped during the Anniversary. That should let you know how busted they were on release. They had no reason to be this good, but they were, and they kind of overshadowed the Anniversary units, despite the Anniversary units still being very good. Like, this 5 here formed was this 5 or 6? Yes, 5. That was basically the top 5 units in the game, and if you didn't have them, you're already at a very big disadvantage in PvP. Now, already that by itself is kind of crazy, but you have to understand that, you know, with Anniversaries we get pretty big meta shifts, right? So it makes sense for the Anniversary units to be good. So that's what, 4 months ago. We're in October, 4 months ago, close to November, so 5 months ago, I would say. But that was 5 months ago. Ever since the Anniversary, things have gotten pretty ridiculous. Now, after Anniversary hit, the first LF we got was LF Super Saiyan Trunks. He was good. Don't get me, he's obviously still very good. He's a top 10 unit. But his lack of teams kind of held him back from being truly, truly good. So on release, he was obviously good, but he wasn't, up to standard, right? That's fine. After after Super Saiyan Trunks, we started seeing some Anniversary units drop out of the feature boost. Dragon Fist Goku, MUI Goku, Super Vegito, they dropped out of the feature boost. The biggest hit the unit took was Super Saiyan 3 Goku, who was already a fragile unit on release, but the lack of feature boost made him even more fragile. And just like that, an Anniversary unit went from being a top 5 arguably to kind of lowering down into the top 10, kind of sitting there. Some would argue he would even be top 20. Then this is where it gets even crazier. Super Saiyan Trunks drop. Then they held this powerful opponent campaign, dropping a bunch of powerful opponent units. And the LF for the powerful opponent campaign was Cooler. Cooler. This is easily the unit that I hated the most ever since the launch of this game. I've been playing since the launch of the game, and this guy is definitely the most annoying unit in the game. Just the way they designed this kit, giving you lock and all this stuff, and then just Cooler introduced a new level of power creep. Would you look at that? Cooler basically invalidated all Super Saiyan units, Gogeta, Super Vegito, Anniversary unit Super Vegito. He was made to counter Super Vegito strictly. I don't know why they wanted to do it. His reign was very short, but for some reason they wanted to make him a counter to him. I don't know why. Honestly, in my opinion, obviously I was using Super Vegito and I was using the best team in the game, Fusions, at the time. But if I were to be honest, the meta wasn't that bad, right? It was still somewhat diverse. You can still do very well with other teams. Movies was good, Saiyans were good, Future was good, Powerful Opponent was good. You had good options there. So I don't know why they wanted to make him so heavily focused on countering Super Vegito, especially since Super Vegito was obviously he was the best unit in the game, but it wasn't like he was overwhelmingly better than everyone else. Super Gogeta was still a close second. UI Goku was still very good. Droids was still very good. Super Vegeta wasn't some overwhelming being that completely destroyed everyone else. So I don't see what was the reason for them to introduce Cooler and completely shut Super Vegito down. I have no idea why they did that. But Cooler dropped, and this kind of introduced, like I said, a new level of power creep because everyone was kind of forced to run Cooler, or you're already at a disadvantage by a sizable margin. So a lot of people were forced to summon for Cooler, all that stuff. Then after Cooler, they drop an Ultra Broly who still buffs the same tag. Why were they buffing movies to oblivion? I have no idea. It was supposed to be a powerful opponent campaign. Although these units are powerful opponent units, they've hyper focused on movies instead. For example, this was a powerful, like I said, this was a powerful opponent campaign, but for whatever reason, they made his Ultra ability buff movies. You needed movie saga units to use him. Why'd they do that? If they changed this to powerful opponents, then you wouldn't be running this guy alongside Ultra Gogeta and Cooler, because that was the best team in the game right there. But instead, you're not forced to, but you have the option to just leader Gogeta, get his full Ultra ability, and then you can just use this guy on this team, and he'll still get his full Ultra ability. And then you run Cooler, and you're running the best team in the game. All Super Saiyan units are just down in the mud at that point. You can't run Super Vegeta anymore. MUI Goku gets locked. This guy just locks in anyone and kills you. That's it. And because if you're up against a Super Saiyan unit, which at the time was the most prominent tag, he was type neutral basically all the time. So there wasn't really a counter to him, other than this Majin Vegeta who's somewhere in here, but I can't find him. That already of itself is pretty big, right? Not even 2 months after the anniversary, this guy's already invalidating all the anniversary units. UI Goku was still up there because he's not Super Saiyan unit, and but he was mainly ran with the Super Saiyan units, so that's already putting him at a disadvantage because Cooler just didn't give a shit about anyone. That wasn't even the end. Not even one. Okay, actually, I'd say a couple weeks. I think it's a couple weeks, or maybe a month after Broly's release, or a couple weeks. Then we come to this guy, Beast Gohan. Everyone was waiting for this guy. this guy was probably the most hype or anticipated unit ever since because he's literally the only new unit left that we haven't gotten, right? And he's probably at that point before his release, he was the most anticipated unit. There's no doubt about it. He was literally from the latest piece of Dragon Ball media, so it's only obvious that he was the most anticipated unit. And boy, did they give this guy something. I'm pretty sure at this point you guys already know how ridiculous this guy is. Easily the best units. And what's crazy is Cooler, that just dropped a couple weeks or a month ago, who was the best unit in the game by a long shot, who you would see in 99.9% of your matches, was snapped out of existence. This Beast Gohan came in and said, "Fuck you" to every single unit in this game. Currently, PvP is simply Beast Gohan or you lose. You can't use any other teams that does not have Beast Gohan. Every single one of the units are gone. Cooler is gone. UI Goku is gone. Super Vegeta is gone. Super Gogeta is gone. Broly is gone. Broly, out of all these units, is the most common, and still you would see him once every 100 games. It's either you run Beast Gohan, Pan, which, by the way, Pan is easily the second best unit. It's either you run Beast Gohan, Pan, Future Gohan, Revival Gohan. If you don't run any of those, Piccolo even if you want to. But if you don't run Beast Gohan and Pan, you don't get to win in PvP. Now, obviously, there are some cases an opponent uses a different team and they beat you because they're better than you. That's obvious, right? But you start off at such a massive disadvantage if you don't use these characters that, what the hell? I always tell free-to-play players, don't spend all your crystals on one banner, focus on one team and hyper build that one team. But the way that things have been going, you almost have to summon on every single banner, because every single unit that's coming out after is just countering the previous unit, and it's just being better than the previous unit, and it just keeps repeating itself, and that kind of forces you to summon on all the banners if you want to actually compete in PvP, which I don't get why. Like, why do you have to make units overwhelmingly stronger than the previous unit? Sure, I know Beast Gohan is the most anticipated unit, but like, was it really necessary to make him this much better than the rest of the game? Because I'm telling you right now, Beast Gohan is multiple tiers above every single unit in this game. You might not want to hear this, but I honestly think that Beast Gohan is either on par or better than Vegeta Blue on his release. That might be controversial to say, but that's how broken this guy is. And not only that, he's paired with the greatest support unit that we've ever seen in this game's history. And it's just GG for you if you don't run them. These last couple of days, months leading after the anniversary, has just been, the power creep during this time has been overwhelming. And it's hard to keep up, especially if you're not someone that, obviously if you're a free-to-play unit or even just a light spender, it's hard to keep up. This is only going to get even worse with Legends Festival coming soon. I obviously cannot see them making a unit even stronger than Beast Gohan. But come on, how many times are people going to say that? We said that for Cooler, we said that for UI, we said that for Super Vegeta, we said it for all these units, but they keep surprising us once again. So that's I don't know, man. I just don't know. That's pretty much all I want to talk about. It's just crazy how much things have been going, like how fast units are getting like power crept, and it's insane. It's really insane. I'm telling you, Beast Gohan is literally in 100% of matches. There's literally no game where you don't see Beast Gohan. I don't know, man. I don't know what they're going to be doing for Legends Festival. I'm pretty sure the units are going to be on par or maybe even better than Beast Gohan, but I don't know how this is going to end, man. It's just crazy. Definitely drop a comment letting me know what you guys think about the state. Do you guys think the power creep is too much? Is it too fast, or is it not enough? Drop a comment letting me know. I'm interested to know what you guys have to say. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like and don't forget to subscribe, because that's just so important, so don't forget. Have a great day. See ya.